the story of Moses is given when God gave him revelation, told him to go to the Pharaoh and release the Israelites. So here in verse 6, basically God tells him to put his hand inside his cloak, and his hand comes out white, but it was leprous. It says the skin was leprous. So I want to keep this in mind when we compare this to the account in the Quran. Also later, Moses says, please send someone else. He is afraid to go, and he wants basically God to send someone other than him. So because of this, the Lord's anger burned against Moses, and he says, what about your brother Aaron? So basically, he says, let Aaron go with you and speak on your behalf. And then on the way, as Moses and his family are going to Egypt, it says at a lodging place, this is verse 24, the Lord met Moses and was about to kill him. And this is a very confusing verse. But then his wife, Zipporah, circumcised their son. And because of this circumcision, basically God, didn't kill him and let him go. And, if you look at the commentary, the Jewish commentaries, they say that God was angry at Moses because he didn't circumcise his son, and he let him, basically, he waited too long to circumcise him and so on. Something very weird. So anyways, if we look at the account in the Quran, in Surah Taha, this is chapter number 20, verse 22, here he tells him to put his hand under his arm, and it will come out white without any disease. So here Allah is fixing the alteration they made, where they said that his hand came out leprous with some type of skin disease. Allah is saying here, min ghayri su, without any disease. And even in the commentaries, they say that God punished Musa with this skin disease because he asked, to send someone else, and he was afraid to go to Egypt and so on. But this is rejected in the Quran. Also, Musa is the one who asked Allah to send an assistant with him, and he specifically mentions his brother Harun. Right? He says, make for me an assistant from my family, Harun, my brother. It wasn't that Musa asked Allah to send someone instead of him or someone else. He just asked to send Harun because Harun was a better speaker. And, there's no mention of God getting angry at Musa and wanting to kill him in this very confusing verse in the Bible. Rather, the opposite is mentioned. Allah says, وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي. That Allah says to Musa, He says, I had cast love on you from myself. So he's basically telling Musa that I love you and I'm going to be with you along the way. And there's no mention of this anger and this weird story that is mentioned in the Bible. May Allah give us understanding. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.